Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 of a best of 3 between Pixy and Nilla in the final of the second Steel Division 2 championship. Today they are playing on Slutsk East, and on our left, in the red team playing on the Soviet side, we have Pixy, using the 26th Guards rifles and the Vanguard deployment type. And on our right, in the blue team playing on the Axis side, we have Nilla, using the 352nd and the flatline deployment type. So both of these opponents have had to come through some very strong players to get here. Pixy defeated Sean, of course, in his semi-final, and Nilla defeated Frublord, both fantastic players. But here we are, Pixy versus Nilla. They have a best of 3 to decide who is going to be the victor of this tournament. And we have some interesting divisions. The 26th Guards Rifles, we've seen it a few times. It does have a lot up its sleeve. It has, of course, some decent medium armor up to the KV-85s. It has, of course, access to some strong artillery as well as the infantry and also infantry support weapons to back that up. And on the side of Nilla, we've got the 352nd, which we don't see terribly often, but is a very strong division due to its abundance of cheaper infantry like Ostrupen. And it also has, of course, the support weapons to back that up, a lot like the 26th does with things like the OBs and the 45mm AT guns. The 352nd has Pak 38s and IGs, so it can match up in that aspect. Anyway, let's have a look at what's going down on both sides. On our left, we have Pixy here, so let's have a look at what he's bringing. We've got 3 units of Gvardia DP and a 45mm AT gun on the top side. Make that 2 Gvardia DP. 2 SG-43s further down. She's going to change those for Chernos at the top side. Looks like Pixie's still deploying. OB further down. Then we see towards the center, it's going to be 2 Maxims, Avtos, Ognemachiki, 2 squads of those, 3 Gvardia DP, and a 45mm. And on the very bottom side, it's going to be 4 units of Chernos, Stemovniki Rocks, or Stemoviki Rocks, sorry. 45mm AT gun and the OB-25 there. On the side of Nilla, lots and lots of troops heading into this top side. Stostrup going to be leading the charge. Those are small squads with Molotovs. Pak 38, multiple units of Grenadiers, make that 6. One has a Panzerfaust, so 7 in total. Pioneer Fjodor there to back those up. It's also going to be the commander at the start. And we're going to see that followed up by multiple Grenadiers. Going to be 4 units of Grenadiers, 2 with Panzerfaust, Pioneer, Pak 38, Pioneer Fjodor, and the IG-18 there. Further down towards the centre, we see 2 Grenadiers, multiple Flammenwerfer, and the IG-18. And on the bottom side, it's going to be Grenadier, IG-18. So IG-18s across the board, and then lots and lots of cheap infantry. Absolutely no armour to be seen on both sides of the fight. Never mind, Pixy has changed his deployment on the bottom side, or at least added to his deployment on the bottom side by bringing in 2 T-34Es. So those are going to be making the charge down here. Interesting stuff. So yeah, Nilla certainly investing way more into this topside engagement than Pixy. I'm a little bit worried about that. We can see that Pixy's AT guns have unloaded. They're looking for snipes. Nice snipe there from Pixy. Takes out the only infantry squad on the bottom side of the map. That might give him access to 2 flags here. That'd be very, very nice. 2 Flammenwerfer pushing towards the center of this open ground to try and take that sooner than later. 2 Flammenwerfers have moved in here. Will end up facing off against Pixy's Flamers as well, although the Maxims will be able to help out with that engagement. IG-18 going to be trying to take out the 45mm at a distance. This IG on the bottom side going to force Pixy to unload his Chernos, but should still be able to make quite a lot of ground very quickly with the OB2 E34s going to be crushing that IG. Meanwhile, SG-43's going to be in cover on the top of this hill. One's under fire from the IG-18, however. Those will be able to cover against infantry on the ground. You can see the Stostrup here did take a lot of damage advancing, even though they haven't engaged anything themselves yet. Nice use of the Yak-9B by Pixy to get rid of that IG. Lots of infantry now pushing in here to 2 squads of Nilla's infantry. So Nilla certainly going to be under pressure on the bottom side of the map, to say the least. He's going to lose control of these trees and potentially this town as well, which will allow Pixy to match up where Nilla is taking ground on the top side. The Chernos, one of them already forced back. The Slutsk troop there with their Molotovs instantly surrendered. One of those Chernos. There's no leader here for Pixy. And what Nilla's trying to do is he's using his Commandant with his Pioneer Führers to basically give his Grenadiers 2-star veterancy, and they're going to completely overrun the unvetted Chernos on the side of Pixy. These Grenadiers have done surprisingly well. The Avtos and Gvardia there are being forced back after these Grenadiers chewed them up a little bit. These two Maxims just aren't really being very effective at all. I'm not a huge fan of the Maxims. Surprised to see both the Maxims and SGs used actually, but either way, the Pioneers coming in here now to make up for the death of that Grenadier unit. We see a Flakfelling and a Grenadier coming onto the bottom side. So Flakfelling here, I feel like that's potentially to kill off a Yak that might go for the IG, but also might just be using that to kill off infantry that might push through. So interesting stuff. I'm surprised to see how badly Pixy has messed up this push. He had completely outnumbered Nilla, but it seems as though the double Pioneer will finish the job here against the Gvardia. The Avto, Gvardia, Oknemachiki, they just didn't really commit all at the same time, and it caused him to lose out on that fight there, where he probably should have won. Either way, Sturmoviki Rock's going to be jumping on top of those Grenadiers, and the Slutsk troop takes them out very, very quickly indeed. This is probably one of the best close-range infantry squads in the game. 6 submachine guns and 2 flamethrowers. Very, very strong. Yak 9B is still floating about. We're going to see more Chernos coming in onto this bottom side. T-34 did move all the way up to this tree line to try and find the IG-18 that was bombed previously. Nilla's going to be coming in with a Stug 3 and the Panzer 35. Now Nilla, of course, has a flatline deployment type, so he does in fact have the Jagdpanther in Phase A. And this is going to be very, very good for popping those T-34s down the road. So Pixie's got something to worry about now, that's for sure. And going to have to find a way to break that down. That might also be the reason for the Flakfelling coming out first from Nilla, so that he can avoid any IL-2s coming in and hitting that Jagdpanther. I guess the 26th also has access to the Yak 9Bs, cluster bombers. So that's something he's also going to want to avoid with this Jagdpanther. But we can see the IL-237 coming in now from Pixy. I failed to mention about these at the start of the game. Very, very strong aircraft, the IL-2 with the 37mm cannons, great for popping things like Stugs. That's exactly what he's going for. We'll be able to take that out. Nicely done. And may start looking for kills on the bottom side, because this Stug is showing itself. Sturmoviki Rocks have pushed through, taking care of the infantry in the close quarters combat. Cherno's moving into the tree lines here will find and kill the IG very easily. ME-109 G2R1 coming in to try and take down the IL-237, save the Jagdpanther and the Stug on the bottom side, although the Flakfelling should have that covered. Pack 38 goes down on the top side, but the Sturmoviki Rocks, oh, look how much damage they're doing. Grenadiers go down. Every squad that moves up into the Sturmoviki is being killed so far. OB is going to get shots onto the Pack 38. Pack 38 is trying to cut down on these Chernos. I think maybe one of them was killed there. I think 4 came in originally. Either way, we can see the Flakfelling now engaging and killing a Cherno very quickly. Or the IL-2, it hasn't been stopped in time. The Jagdpanther goes down. Lovely kill there from the IL-237. Good job, Pixy. Looks like the Flakfelling might not even get the kill. We'll see on this last burst if that's enough. Those things are very tanky. ME-109 doesn't get on target. Also misses its bombing strike onto the OB-25. We'll have a chance to come around. Can it finish the job? Nope. IL-2 gets away. Lovely stuff from Pixy. He really needs to take advantage, though, of his situation here. I guess the Stug plus the Flakfelling is enough to potentially stop his T-34s. We will see the T-34E under pressure. Well, it's putting the Flakfelling under pressure. Needs to probably kill off this Flakfelling ASAP. Nilla actually putting a message there saying I should surrender. He did lose his Jagdpanther. Put him in a very bad spot. 45mm AT gun. Needs to be switching its ammo between APCR and AP. In this patch, the APCR isn't as strong as it is now, but even so, would allow him to get some really nice crits there and increase the rate of fire of his AT gun. Infantry going down there before it unloaded. That's not good from Nilla. Nilla needs to get these grenadiers moving forwards to support his Slutsk. Second Slutsk coming in on the bottom side there. ME-109 still going for the strafing run onto the OB. Some solid mistakes there from Nilla on the bottom. And meanwhile, Pixy has reinforced himself on the top side. Two Chernos moving up the hill with the Gvardia at their back. Two Gvardia on the top side. Chernos moving in. Looks like the numbers are even, but the Pioneers and Grenadiers are probably better than the Chernos and Gvardia. Especially if it comes down to the 100-meter range engagement. Lovely job there. Slutsk 3 goes down. IL-2 coming in for the shot onto the Slutsk 3 as well. Lovely stuff. Another Slutsk dead. One of the T-34Es did get bailed out, and we can see the Flammenwerfers in the center also being taken care of here. Huge ground take on the bottom side for Pixy. Once he gets rid of these Grenadiers, that's going to be this flag and potentially this flag taken, which will bring him back to even for now. But of course, Nilla still has the advantage on the top side. And the trouble is with Slutsk East is, if you don't control this town, you don't control most of the flags, because it's very concentrated. You can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 flags in a very small area, and Nilla's just kind of pushed through, taken the 2 that Pixy should be controlling, as well as the 2 on top of this hill. And that's because Pixy doesn't have any infantry coming up this road to prevent this cap. If he can prevent this from being captured and then secure the 2 on the bottom side where he has a huge advantage, he should be in a pretty good spot. IL-237 still floating about. This Slutsk 3 could be in trouble. Although another flak filling has been purchased by Nilla. Going to be hoping that that can crit the IL-237, stop it from getting its kill. Yak-9B coming in for the strafing run on the top side, I presume, to hit that IG-18 by the looks of things. The engagement still occurring between that infantry. Okay, 100 kilogram bombs doing the job. Of course, it does label this as a fighter. It is, of course, a fighter bomber. That's just due to the special viewer. Cherno and Gvardia did lose out to the Pioneers and Grenadiers, as predicted. And these 2 Grenadiers going to be taking out the Chernos and Gvardia, moving up the hill as well. The main reason for them losing out here is because they're not in cover, whilst the Grenadiers are. And that does make a big difference when it comes to using things like MG34s. The flak filling almost takes down the IL-237, but it's going to get away once again with an oil leak. I think that's probably the second one that Pixy has, because I don't think the first one would have been repaired by now. Flammenwerfer moving in there just to hold on to that point, and the PaK-40 now going to take out a T-34E. So he's dealt with the Slutsk, but he's now going to deal with the PaK-40, and PaK-40s are actually going to be quite difficult for him to take out with a T-34E, especially if he doesn't have numbers on his side. That PaK-40 is going to have reasonable penetration at that range. Slutsk 3 is just sitting back, transmission damage on the bottom side. Grenadiers and Sostroop moving in to just hold this flag. And currently, Nilla's been sitting on the 13 to 11, even though I feel like Nilla's made a lot more mistakes than Pixy. And I feel like at this point he'd probably agree. He's just winning out because his infantry is getting the better of Pixy on this top side, and he's managing to hold on to a lot of these flags. So currently he's backing himself up with a lot of Flammenwerfers. When you see people bringing in close-range infantry like this that specializes at the 100 meters, it generally shows you that they're going to go on the defensive for a little while, because it's very hard to get effectiveness out of a 100-meter range infantry squad without smoke to push them forwards. And of course there's no mortars on the field on the side of Nilla. You can use the smoke of the Flammenwerfers themselves, but they are limited in quantity. The Flammenwerfer here, it looks like most of the Flammenwerfers died actually trying to move forwards. A lot of them dying before they unloaded. Not a big deal for Nilla. They are only 13 or 15 points apiece, sorry. Sostroop there getting a lovely surrender quickly onto Pixy's infantry squad. Some great micro coming out, just jumping those infantry backwards and forwards there from Nilla. Yak-9B coming in for the strafing run onto the PaK-40. Doesn't manage to make that work. Now we've got the 88 and the flak filling on the bottom side. Surely this Yak-9 goes down. The flak-filling is out of range. The 88, unless it can get this snipe, is not going to get the kill. No, it survives. So, T-34E trying to take care of the Flammenwerfer. OB does have line of sight as well. Actually misses its shot. As that's Truppen though, now being moved in to take up the mantle of holding that flag. So yeah, although there's been a huge advantage here for Pixy on the bottom side, he just hasn't been able to capitalize and capture the flags that he needs to get ahead. And therefore, all the while, Nilla has actually been in a dominating position in terms of flags and has bled some of Pixy's tickets. And now as the game goes on, because Nilla has a flatline deployment type, he's probably got more late game cards than Pixy does. So Pixy needs to get ahead with his Vanguard deployment type sooner than later before Nilla can just take over the game. Pixy here, trying to move in with this Gvardier. If he can get them into heavy cover and start engaging the Grenadiers, they can do a reasonable amount of damage. But you can see the Grenadiers, they actually have 3-star veterancy at the moment. And that is because of the Pioneer Führer and the Commandant. Now 3-star veterancy versus no veterancy is a big, big deal. These Grenadiers will be very, very tough to kill and will put out a lot of damage compared to the Gvardier DP. OB-25 going to be engaging the PaK-40 now. The PaK-40 actually ran out of HE ammunition, so the OB-25 stayed alive. T-34 on the bottom side did get taken out at some point. Slutsk SG are going to be engaging the SG-43 with the Grenadier with the Panzerfaust. Dog 3 might also be able to help out there, but at close range these SGs are not very good, so that should get overwhelmed pretty quickly. Maxim trying to push across the open here. Going to try and deal with Grenadiers in heavy cover. That's not going to end well, just like for this squad. Grenadiers moving in there just to cover the open ground. The OB will put a lot of pain into those, and I'm actually kind of concerned that the Grenadiers will just get killed off by the Avtos when they get close. Either way, on the top side, Slutsk, they are finally going to get taken out surely. The M15 and the T-34 engaging those. The Slutsk, being alive for so long, has caused a lot of issues for Pixy's infantry. He's managed to get a lot of value out of the Molotovs, and keeping that one man alive there, for example, enables him to throw the Molotov very quickly and do more damage to the Gvardier for free. So that's really, really nice. This T-34E, though, both of the T-34Es on that top side, could cause issues because there are a limited amount of Panzerfausts. These Volksdeutsche do have Panzerfausts, but the Pioneers Grenadiers don't. As soon as these Volksdeutsche reveal they have Panzerfausts, that might force the T-34Es to be a bit more passive for the time being, but we will see. ME-109G2R1 getting forced back on the top side by the M15. Yak-9B on the bottom side gets away with its bombing strike. AA is too far down. It looks like the 88 got killed by probably the OB at some point. Jagdpanther, oh, that's coming on the bottom side to cut down units on that road. Now we see finally Pixy getting the lead. The T-34 did go down to the Volksdeutsche on the top side. Gvardier now moving up. They really need leaders. There's no veterancy use here from Pixy whatsoever. We don't see a commander on the map. We don't see any leaders on the map. You're just going for sheer quantity to try and break through, but that doesn't really work if your opponent is using veterancy against you. So I feel like these are getting a ton of value. The Commandant of Nilla is giving the Volksdeutsche 2-star veterancy. And so the Gvardier, when they move up and they're not in cover, they get ripped to shreds very, very quickly indeed. Ersatztruppen coming in there to take back a flag. That's going to push Nilla now back into the lead. Ersatztruppen also now pushing into the bottom side. Phase B card of Ersatztruppen is a lot of units. I think it's like 24 or something. So he's going to have a ton of these up his sleeve, and they're very, very cheap. And the OB there has revealed itself to the Jagdpanther, so the Jagdpanther will take that out eventually. OB-25, even with its heat shells, wouldn't have a chance against the Jagdpanther. Ersatztruppen now pushing across the open. Pixy overextended here to get this flag, and now his infantry's died, so Nilla's going to be able to potentially take that back very quickly, and that's going to be the open ground back in the favour of Nilla on the bottom side, which isn't something I guess I really expected at this point. But having lost his T-34Es and his initiative on this bottom side, Pixy's now sort of employed most of his troops into the top to try and take that back, but lost the bottom in the process. 88 being pulled in onto this top side. Another support weapon being used. That's going to wipe out this T-34 on the hill. We've got off-map coming down from Pixy, which will probably give him back a couple of flags. So that'll bring things back to even once again. Both players just pushing on each side of the map. And here it comes. That's going to be the off-map. It's only 122 mil off-map, so it's good enough to pin, but won't do too much damage unless it gets direct hits. Gavardia now moving in as that falls to secure those flags. That's a lot of Erzurpen coming in on the bottom side. We got them backed up by Grenadiers now as well. The abundance of Kar-98s are really going to rip through squads at medium range. When you outnumber your opponent like this, it can cause you to kill enemy squads very, very fast. But the Sturmoviki will be able to cut down Erzurpen if they come into the close range combat. We've got Gavardia DP now coming in with their machine guns. He's going to want to unload those sooner than later so they can utilize their 750 meter range versus the Erzurpen. Erzurpen don't have machine guns, so they won't be able to engage until they get into 500 meters. The Jagdpanther does manage to kill one of the Gavardia DP before it unloaded, so that's a little unfortunate. Looks like off-map did its job, cleaned up most of these. Volksdeutsche just standing in the way. They have no veterancy, so they will get cut down eventually by the abundance of Gavardia that are firing on them. That will give this flag, and maybe even this flag actually, to Pixy, which will push him into the lead. This off-map might land well, but does need follow-up, and there it is. We see the Saperi and the Maxim coming in there to back that up. This Gavardia, though, needs to make sure it doesn't die. Volksdeutsche is doing a runner there. Further up into this town, multiple Grenadiers engaging Gavardia. On the bottom, the Erzurpen pushing through. Jagdpanther's moved up so that he can cover the reinforcing road on this bottom side. Big old salient here for Nilla, and he can see that. So he's going to be trying to break through here ASAP, and then potentially capturing both the flags on the bottom side. But these Sturmoviki are hella stubborn, and they managed to take out two Erzurpen in one go. Really, really tough squads to get rid of. 2-star veterancy as well. Base is really, really rough. Either way, we do see transport going down there. I think that was a Saperi. Died before it unloaded. That is not good news. But the Volksdeutsche here, they don't have veterancy anymore because they moved away from the Commandant. So looks like Pixy with his SVTs will be able to clean those up. And the Volksdeutsche behind, maybe a little bit tougher, but at close range with the Saperi, will be able to get the TNT on target. Even so, on this bottom side, Sturmoviki having to go up against more Erzurpen. Eventually, the Sturmoviki will run out of steam. They're getting picked off slowly but surely. As elite they are, every Erzurpen squad that comes at them will do a little bit more damage. Probably hoping to kill this Erzurpen before the Sturmoviki take another point of damage. Okay, does manage to do so. Another Erzurpen going to be coming in, doing another point of damage. Oh no, that's not good. The Gavardia getting ripped by the Flakvilling. The Sturmoviki needs to stay out of line of sight there, that's for sure. Two Gavardia in the open have managed to stop this Erzurpen and its salient. On the top side, we see multiple Erzurpen coming in. ME-109, G2R1 coming in with a 250 kilogram bomb. We do see the Saperi taking out one of the Erzurpen before it unloaded. A bombing strike looking to pin down some of this infantry before the Erzurpen unload. 2-star Erzurpen by this Commandant. Going to be real tough, actually. Especially if the Erzurpen are in heavy cover and Pixy's are not. And this is a recurring theme for Pixy and his infantry micro, because I feel like he often gives his troops attack move orders and completely neglects using the buildings nearby to give him cover in these extended engagements, because it does make a huge difference. And units like Erzurpen in heavy cover with 2-star veterancy are going to just rip to shreds like the Saperi and Gavardia over time and not really take much damage themselves. So you really can't neglect that, because it does definitely make a huge difference. ME-109, G2R1 tried to take out the IL-2, but not going to be able to get too close because of the M15 covering the skies. It's back to 12-12, but Pixy here, playing Vanguard, he's running out of steam on this bottom side. His Gavardia are trying to take out the Erzurpen and should be able to do so. This Sturmoviki, though, is being spotted by Azerstruppen from range, and looks like it will be taken out because Pixie's not paying attention down here just at the moment. The Maxims in these buildings are also close to being taken out, and with that the flag will be captured by Nilla. KV-85 moving in there to try and stop that push. We'll be able to certainly cut down a lot of grenadiers should they try and push forwards, because there's no AT weapons here other than the Pak-40. And the Pak-40 is going to struggle to kill a KV-85 in the front armor. You will need some infantry to back that up, but I kind of fear that into the late game, Pixie's going to be running low on infantry, whilst Nilla still has plenty up his sleeve, due to that flatline vanguard difference. Nilla now on the 15-9. Pixie can't afford to lose any more Gavardia pushing into these town engagements, because these Azerstruppen, they are getting so much value right now from this 2-star veterancy. Sapari going down. All of the Sapari have died. Those Sapari are actually really good medium range squads because of those SVTs that they have. Does manage to get the Gavardia into a good position there, but his KV-85 needs to hold back a wave of infantry as well as the Pak-40. Will take out the Pak-40 most likely, but then has to, of course, clean up the Grenadiers. So more armor here would probably be ideal just for cleaning those out, just because they don't have AT themselves. SG-43 at a distance is going to not only hold his flag, but also start cutting down some of the Grenadiers. Jagdpanther, though, that could always move up and hit this KV-85, and that would be devastating for Pixie, unless he can get an IL-237 on target of that Jagdpanther like he's done previously. P-34E going to be engaging these Grenadiers at close range. I like the way that Pixie has sort of incorporated these T-34Es into his close range town fighting, because a lot of Nilla's infantry doesn't have Panzerfaust. And the Volksdeutsche do, and some of the Grenadier with Panzerfaust, but most of them don't. Like the Azerstruppen Grenadiers, there's a lot of infantry here that he can just run down with medium tanks, whilst Nilla doesn't really have the same luxury, because the Gavardia and the Gavardia DP both have annoying AT weapons. However, doesn't really matter when your infantry can just run them down. Azerstruppen Grenadiers, they're all moving forwards. The Gavardia getting lower and lower on health, and it looks like some more Gavardia coming in here for Pixie to support the KV-85, but as soon as the Jagdpanther, like I said before, comes up and pays an interest to this KV-85, it's going to go pop. Looks like Azerstruppen have come in on this bottom side and managed to unload very close to the SG-43. That is not good news at all. The SG goes down. Another flag in control of Nilla. 16-8, 7 minutes until defeat for Pixie. Me-109 again coming in for the bombing strike. These light fighter bombers have really been making a huge difference throughout this tournament. Can we see the Jagdpanther get the kill? Yep, there it goes. And just as the KV-85 dies, Pixie surrenders. 24 minutes, 51 seconds. Nilla, I think, got away with that by the skin of his teeth. When he said, I should surrender, he was in a very, very bad spot. He'd lost his Jagdpanther, he'd lost his AA on the bottom side to the T-34s, he'd lost his Stugs. Like, there was so much opportunity there for Pixie to push through, but I guess he just didn't have enough to really secure those flags and maintain that position. Because he did bring up, like, infantry guns and also the AT guns to try and control that bottom side from the tree line, but it just didn't stick, because when the second Jagdpanther came in, it started clearing things out. The infantry engagement on the top side was very, very rough. I feel like Pixie made quite a few mistakes with his infantry micro, like using attack move instead of actually like right click on the buildings to jump into cover. That was a big deal. But the big difference between the infantry engagement was, in fact, the veterancy, of course. Now, Nilla has shown multiple times that he loves to use the commander either on the front line, but also to give his leaders the 2-star veterancy availability to his surrounding infantry. So use the commanders to buff his leaders, and the leaders buff his infantry, give them that 2-star veterancy bonus, and yeah, just sweeps through the opposing infantry with that at his back. So yeah, 2,715 kills to 2,270 losses. That's mainly going to come down to, again, infantry value. You're going to see quite a lot of kills from Nilla's infantry onto Pixie's infantry. Sturmoviki did do well. I think Pixie uses Sturmoviki well, for sure. But the rest of his infantry maybe not so well. We see the IL-2 there getting the 2 Stugs and the Jagdpanther, the lovely use of the IL-237s throughout the game, and another one killing 2 Stugs, pays themselves off. This Sturmoviki dealing with the swarm of Ersatztruppen was very cool to watch from the bottom side. But then when we look at losses, Grenadiers going 3 for 1, Cherno 45mm AT gun, Gvardia. You've got another Grenadier here going 2 Gvardia DP squads. This one's killed 2 Gvardia DP squads, Cherno and an SG-43. So this is where the difference really is. It's not so much these tanks, like the tanks really didn't do too much. Like this is a Volksranger, look at that, T-34E, multiple Gvardia squads. And it comes from those being in heavy cover and just demolishing the Gvardia as they advance. Jagdpanther did of course kill the KV-85 and the T-34. The 88s, that was on the top side. Oh, the IS-1 came in and got popped by the 88 as well. I did not see that. So yeah, Pixie lost that along the way as well. But a reasonably strong showing from Nilla in the first game of this final. I feel like both players made quite a lot of mistakes, honestly, in this first game. But we'll have to see if the second game is a bit more decisive, or maybe even a bit more closer. We'll have to wait and see. But that's it. Pixie loses out. Nilla takes game 1 of the best of 3. We'll move on to game 2. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.